are certainly capable of striking any target on the globe. They are launched from the air, from the ground, from the water, and even from underwater. At the same time, the missiles themselves are almost impossible to shoot down. For 4 decades, these missiles have been safeguarding democracy and have participated in almost all armed conflicts involving the United States of America over the years in various capacities.
Starting from the Gulf War, well, it was used earlier, and it was used in the 70s.
Missiles that every person has heard of, at least once. After all, no American action movie is complete without them. And missiles that are most feared in the Kremlin. After all, this is perhaps the best of conventional weapons today. So what are the notorious Tomahawks capable of? Is Ukraine really asking for these missiles from the USA? What are the prospects of their transfer, and what could they destroy at Russian positions and in the rear? All about this today in Arsenal. Their development began more than half a century ago. In 1972, the US Department of Defense set the task of transporting nuclear warheads without violating the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty. At the same time, the carrier had to be launched from air, land, and water. The result was the development of the new Tomahawk cruise missile. Out of numerous developments, in 1976, the RBGM-109 project by General Dynamics was selected. The missile was specifically designed to fly at subsonic speeds and at low altitudes. Incidentally, it was the first to use terrain contour matching technology, allowing it to navigate around obstacles and fly at an altitude of no more than 30 meters.
Tomahawk is a medium-range missile. It was initially developed in all variants at once. That is, it was developed for air-based, sea-based, including both underwater and surface, and land-based or deployment.
This is what delayed its adoption into service. After all, the missile had to be suitable for everyone: the Navy, the Air Force, and the ground forces. As a result, the Army eventually received the new type of weapon only 10 years after the start of the extensive testing process, in 1983. There are 9 different types of Tomahawks, such as the Block 1 versions, which included nuclear warheads and anti-ship variants. In addition to these, there are other types as well. In 1991, with the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the USSR, US President George Bush announced that the missiles were being moved to storage. And in 2010, they were sent for disposal as part of disarmament policy. The same fate awaited the ground-based modification BGM-109 and the TASM. However, those first models of Tomahawks served as prototypes for today's American missiles. For example, TASMs. This missile was widely used during Operation Desert Storm. According to official data, more than 300 Tomahawks were launched at that time, of which 85% hit their targets.
The range of the Tomahawk launch is 2,500 kilometers. It is constantly used, especially in the Middle East, starting from the Gulf War. Well, it was used earlier too, and it was used in the 70s.
The most modern Tomahawk today is the highly advanced Block 5 modification, a missile system. After launch, it can be redirected in flight via satellite communication to any of 15 alternative targets. The onboard radar and communication systems on the missiles have been upgraded, making it impossible to jam with electronic warfare, and it is capable of hitting targets even in the absence of a GPS signal. Its cost is estimated at $1.5 million.
This accordingly takes into account the possibility of electronic warfare with enhanced capabilities to counteract electronic interference. Plus, the warhead has been improved. By the way, the warhead is about 260 kilograms, a serious weapon. Well, and accordingly, I emphasize once again, the tactical and technical characteristics have been improved. This includes the flight range and, most importantly, the target impact radius.
Experts cite the main advantages of the Tomahawks as their low flight altitude, extremely high accuracy, and the significant fact that the missiles are not covered by the Strategic Arms Treaty. Additionally, the missile is quite easy to deploy, even on non-specialized ships. Tomahawks, due to their deployment scheme, currently cover the entire globe and can strike absolutely any target. And thanks to their accuracy, they can hit without creating a zone of mass destruction. That is practically without harm to the civilian population. All thanks to the modern DSMA-C guidance system. It is equipped with so-called machine vision, where three-dimensional images of the terrain and target coordinates are stored in memory. During the flight, the missile continuously photographs the route and compares the images with the existing map. As a result, at a distance of 2,500 kilometers, a deviation of no more than 5 meters is possible.
This is a weapon that has been constantly improved during the numerous wars that the United States of America has fought since it was adopted into service. This is what makes them unique. That is, the tactical and technical characteristics are taken into account, as well as changes in the enemy's weaponry and modifications are made directly to the modernization of the cruise missile itself.
However, it does have its drawbacks. The majority of such missiles today are only sea-based. The Americans acted within the framework of international agreements, naively trusting Russia and destroying the land-based variations of the Tomahawks. The US missed Moscow's development of the Caliber missiles and is now actively trying to revive old designs, adapting them to today's realities.
Currently in the United States, there is an accelerated adaptation of the Tomahawk missile for land-based deployment. That is, they are developing a launch system for it. This missile is of a container type, so I think they will develop this system fairly quickly. The only thing needed is to install a fire control system and a coordinate input system for this missile.
However, by placing Tomahawks on board their numerous military ships, the US gained an advantage. After all, there is no information on which specific submarines and ships are carriers of these missiles, and it is simply impossible to destroy all American water transport. Accordingly, none of Washington's enemies know where to deliver a preemptive strike. And on the contrary, an attack from the US can come from anywhere.
What is the uniqueness of these launch systems, and accordingly the cruise missiles? It's, well, let's say, the impossibility of detecting the launch systems.
Considering all these capabilities, one of the points in President Zelensky's victory plan was a request, specifically for these missiles, according to Western media. The information was indirectly confirmed by the Ukrainian leader himself, who criticized the West for the information leak.
This most likely information
Was confidential information between Ukraine and the White House. How should these reports be understood? Therefore, it means that there is nothing confidential between the partners.
I absolutely have no certainties at all.
Whether Ukraine will receive such missiles remains unclear. There are plenty of skeptics about such a transfer. However, some analysts believe that not everything is so hopeless. After all, like having modified the ground-based Tomahawks, they will need to be tested, preferably in combat conditions. And there is simply no better way to test them than to send them, even in small numbers, to Ukraine today. Did you like the video? Then don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our new Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video.